Vitamin and alt med and big placebo shillery. If your competitor is actually effective at treating a disease and you're not, time to whip out the conspiracy theories. Now, I have to do a disclaimer. 1965 Duke Medical School MD Dr. Leonard Mario Saputo, Len, who is the author of Return to Healing in 2009, and agreed to work, according to at least one website, only one, with HIV-positive patients on their actual health problems, was not available for critique about the supposed toxic HAART, highly active antiretroviral therapy meds that have gone off patent, cost $10 a month in South Africa, can decrease the patient's total burden of viruses in HIV specifically, so as to maintain the function of their immune system, since that's what it attacks, and thus prevent opportunistic infections that often lead to death. He is not available for comment on this. He has distanced himself, at least in the easily found category. Doesn't matter if he was in a YouTube video that you watched that had him in the title. He's not available. It should also be pointed out that if you interrupt or futz with a medical treatment of any kind with somebody, yes, I know, big pharma, keep screaming it, start keyboard catting. If you disrupt the medical treatment for someone who has a very potentially lethal disease, it can cause them to relapse and die, which happened in South Africa due to a propaganda campaign and conspiracy theory based on moralizing a disease. Diseases do not have morals. Diseases and pandemics are not punishments from gods or demons. They're fucking viruses and bacteria and funguses and prions and gerbils oh my. They are not morally guided missiles. Some of you may not be aware of this, but at one time there was this primitive society that decided that only gay people and the dregs of humanity got AIDS because that's God's retribution. Yeah, Americans. That's the primitive, barbaric society. Also happened in South Africa. And people put up with it. And then people will say, well, it's a different culture, aka for some reason people from the tip of Africa can't possibly be smart enough. No, they were lied to, because the medical system and medical industry in that country wasn't able to tackle an epidemic of AIDS. And then you get AIDS denialism. But AIDS denialism is denial that AIDS exists, not that it's HIV. No. AIDS denialism is denying any characteristic of the disease itself, whether it be HIV, human immune deficiency virus, acquired immune deficiency syndrome, or any of the other characteristics associated with, including the fact that the virus encourages cancer formation. Any form of denialism about the subject is AIDS, HIV denialism, because it deals with the progress of the disease and its cause by lying, not making a mistake about any part of it, for ulterior motives that are never discussed. But again, our Duke MD person who hasn't had his license ripped out of him apparently participated in some video somewhere. Now, why am I concentrating on him for 4 minutes? Because he won't let me critique him by posting any affirmative statements that I can get a hold of except watching some stupid video. Scientific paper, please. When you can't even cite their assertions because they're hidden. And yeah, they're hidden. Every one of the people I'm going to be discussing here are overtly litigious people, except this guy. Journalist Celia Faber, failed journalist, may have said at one time, AIDS could not be transmitted by heterosexual sex. When someone dies from AIDS in the past, especially if they're an activist, they wouldn't let you do an autopsy to find out they died from AIDS. Just like these days, if someone dies from coronavirus, if you don't want them to have done so because it hurts your movement of one kind or another, you just lie about what they died from. And then you claim they lied about it. You know, contrarianism. It's all incompetence, conspiracy, and fraud on the part of the medical community and, of course, Big Pharma. Meanwhile, Big Placebo is selling you vitamin C supplements, overtly having a conflict of interest. Peter Duisenberg, I'm not going to call him any other thing, doucheburger, hypothesis said that HIV is a passenger virus in the etiology of AIDS by selectively ignoring contrary evidence and scientific papers, medical consensus, and direct testing, in vitro and patient, to everything. Cherry-picking outdated scientific data and some data that had been retracted by the authors because they said they were wrong about it. Cherry-picking scientific data from sources that told them stop doing that, you're literally lying about what I wrote in my own paper. Curing the viral infection using antiviral drugs or vaccination without effect on the course of the disease is proof of a passenger virus. No, it's not. A disease can do damage, especially if it's AIDS, that's so severe that even if you can clear the person of the virus, the immune system can still be damaged, or they can still show signs of cancer because it can also induce that. The damage caused by a disease doesn't magically disappear after the disease goes away in every case. Sometimes it does. In fact, most times it does. But a lot like a whole shit ton of diseases that don't behave in this generalized rule of thumb way that somebody invokes. Many diseases, including acquired immune deficiency caused by HIV, you don't get rid of the damage. It just stops happening to you. Stopping someone from hitting you in the head with a hammer doesn't make the damn skull fracture go away. It'll heal, but you're still damaged. That which does not kill me will fuck me up for life. It doesn't make you stronger. PhD chemist David Resnick, and a philosophy PhD, that's all I could track down, he's hiding everything else, or not, Mathis Rath, denied that there was any evidence of an HIV epidemic in South Africa. For no good reason, just there isn't. They wanted a complete ban on HIV testing. Sounds like Trump saying too much testing, they have to cut it down, because it contradicts something. Mockingly, I think, saying that HIV is the first virus that has ever caused a disease called AIDS, or like AIDS, when viruses cause diseases all the time. And that's very bizarre for someone to say if they were involved in any kind of medicine. But again, one of them is apparently a philosophy person. The other one is a chemist. Maybe they don't know what they're talking about. They discourage infected individuals from using antiretroviral drugs that were working, did propaganda campaigns that with the government's permission that allowed 300,000 South Africans to simply die more rapidly so they didn't have to take care of them. Genocide in South Africa. Did an illegal AIDS treatment trial using their cure-all cellular medicine nutritional supplement formulation program that they sell and earn millions through nutritional supplement sales, through what they called or is stated as a non-profit body, which conducts research into science-based natural therapies. Literally sovereign citizen tax avoidance shit. Wow. Did you start a religion? You forgot that part. They cited 40 clinical trials. Only 8 of them were on the topic or a real trial, and none of them supported their statements. And again, in this case, someone said, stop citing my work, you're misquoting it, and I didn't agree with you. Their own study using their recommended dosage for nutritional supplements on infected animals showed a doubling of the death rate when they treated them with their supplements compared to the untreated ones, meaning their cure was worse than the disease. They literally dead-ass killed their animal subjects. And the only reason we know about this is one of them actually published this. There is no proof for effectiveness nor harmlessness of these preparations, and there is proof that they are harmful. You dead ass found a way to make vitamin supplement combination that fucking killed animals by overstressing the system by giving them mega doses of things that you can actually hurt somebody over. If you can technically OD on some vitamins and supplements. People will say the opposite, but if you actually hold them down or tie them down and then force feed them what they say can't kill them and watch them slowly scream in agony as their skin and flesh rot, they'll still deny it. And someone will say you CGI'd it. Common gateway interface. Alt med, big placebo, unrecognized treatments for money without scientific evidence. On questions of life and death, misinformation is an unforgivable and murderous thing, especially when you can confirm excess deaths of over 250,000 in a country because you claim that they're dirty, filthy black people. Because you literally dead-ass said their culture and their race did this. Or another group that said, oh, it's God's punishment for gay people. AIDS denialism background origin story is a hatred of people who don't fucking join your church and let you bully them into admitting you're a sinner for being different. Me being an atheist is worthy of death, according to many of these assholes. And they very quietly, passive-aggressively, and if possible, genocidally kill people when you defy their reality by not dying from being, or not being punished by God for being an atheist, or being gay and not having a negative outcome. If anybody's curious about it, the homosexual community in some areas had a higher incidence of transmission or harboring of various diseases like TB and stuff like that. Simply, you could decide that this is something associated with some sort of moral violation or something, but the majority of it was they were in a disadvantaged state because they did not have, by definition, a normal lifestyle compared to the majority of society. The population in the United States that is gay, or not strictly garden variety vanilla heterosexual, makes up less than 10% of the population. It's usually around 5 or 6%. It depends on where you are. And without a support system so that they're not put into a world that basically wishes them death every damn day, and you know damn good and well that happened and still does. They're stuck with jobs that get to be a lot less able to support them. Being a poor person most of my life and being born poor, I have a vague idea of this. It just means they're poor. The other thing you can do is check how many people, after this was no longer the gay disease, find out that poor people are more likely to get and transmit the disease at one point. South Africa had a very large poor population. They weren't all gay. So, well, we'll make it some sort of moral thing. Or, again, underneath the radar with some of these idiots. Not these people. I'm not claiming these people did this. I'm just saying that in the background, they did say, well, this is a moral thing. A lot of these people are extremely conservative people. If you don't remember or want to believe that an entire portion of the population decided to just let a group of people in the United States die because they didn't like them. Passive murder. If you don't understand that happened, I fucking can't deal with you. I've lost a couple of friends who were gay. A couple of people, yeah. I've lost 30 who weren't gay. It doesn't give a shit what your race, creed, color, anything is. It's a fucking disease. Making it anything other than what it's really about kills people. There are right now, at the point that all this information came out, before people started suing you into shutting up, in South Africa, there are 300,000 excess deaths because of ignorance being prodded out as policy in South Africa. This almost happened in the United States, and it probably causes many deaths too, over time. Genocide through ignorance is a thing. And to the people who keep posting this on my channel, no, you're not allowed to post your stupid links to your propaganda. Y'all, you Nazi asshats, go fuck yourselves. Good day. Thanks for watching. Bye. Rest in peace.